Good. So it's nice to hear you and see you, some of them. Okay, so let us introduce ourselves. I will start. My name is Klaudia Brożek. A long time ago, I started in IT as a tester. Then a few years ago, in 2017, I joined Aptiv. During this time in Aptiv, I experienced different roles, such as Scrum Master, manager, trainer, as well as change agent, engaged into Agile enterprise transformation. I believe that transparency and communication is really the key. Every change starts with people with whom you can start new journey, as I started together with Agnieszka.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm project manager and agile coach in Aptiv right now. For many years, I was focusing on the discovering solution, processes, and methods that could enable self-discovery and self-development of people that I was working with, help them to connect with the right people, and as a side effect, help them to do the right things and build the right product. Mainly because of my attitude, I became 3 years ago an agile coach. So that's us, and let us tell you our story. Once upon a time in Aptiv, that's the place where we met, we discovered Inception, and we will tell you how we use it in pre, during, and post phases, and how it might help you as well.
Yeah, so nowadays, most of companies are really in the process of agile transformation. We are transforming our organizations to agile way of working, where we want to build products iteratively. The question why we want to do this? Because we believe in big ideas. We also are taking small steps to start them, and we believe that short feedback loops will give us more know-how, and we will know more about our customers, their needs. And thanks to all of that, we know how the product should look like. It's very important nowadays.
Yep. Vision of the transformation is usually a nice idea and everyone's so happy about it, but reality is much harder than we usually expect. What is causing this trouble? Change itself, we can say. Truly speaking, there is a plenty of troubles during transformation, and we will cover only one today, stepwise approach. The one that we want to describe is caused by the traditional project preparation based on the triangle of cost, time, and scope. For the whole
for a minute, like we have some voice on the Slack that it's a little bit difficult to hear Claudia, I think. So if you're sharing the mic, could you please like position it a little bit closer to like more even between both of you?
Sure.
Thank you for this hint.
I will try to speak louder. Better now?
Let's see, I think so. Let's see how it goes and we'll adjust. Well, I will monitor the Slack.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's get back to the presentation. So I will catch the last point because we could lose the content. So the problem that we want to describe in our presentation is the traditional project preparation based on this triangle, which you can see on the left side of the presentation, where we have cost, time, and scope. It's all usually done for the whole project upfront. On the other hand, we wish to work iteratively in one or more Agile frameworks. In Agile frameworks, we are focusing on the MVP, which is minimum viable product, like the simplest version of the product. The whole concept is to validate the idea by building something with it minimum valuable and validate this idea. Once you build it, you can collect the real data from the real users, and then you decide the direction of the development of your product based on the learning. Traditional triangle project management is not connecting with the iterative building of product because iron triangle is validating and agreed once, and the MVP is kind of process. It's process based on the build, measure, and learn. This gap cannot cause the happy end.
Yes, but this gap between those two approaches is mostly visible in enterprise projects. Having people hired and aligned in projects takes even up to 6 months. So it's a time really stolen from the product development. Lean Inception is a workshop that really fulfills this gap. It's about aligning group of people to decide what is the MVP before the project will go live. So let us show you more on live examples.
So once upon a time in Aptiv, a few years ago, I created and facilitated workshop for building product vision and aligning people with one project. It was internal product, one tool, which was helping different engineers to visualize detected signals from the car. Product manager put his trust in me to perform this workshop because all activities at that time were organized by me intuitively. Main goal for me was to create an environment that product manager, developers, and customers could get to the moment that they will have shared understanding of what product is, what it does, and in near future, what will be delivered. Life was much easier that time for the workshop because it was 2 days face-to-face workshop. Agenda was simple because we focused only on aligned what product is with all participants and have a lot of valid discussions. Lack of those discussions could cause disappointment for all. As an outcome, we got the product vision based on the vision. We had features, brainstorming, and that caused us to the MVP. Sounds simple, but it was hard and really exhausting workshop for everyone. And immediately after that workshop, we were ready to run PI planning.
Okay, so our story really began last year when I was asked to gather people and start working on one common solution for automated testing. Few teams already developed such project-specific tools that were used internally. Why? So the audit results defined areas that can be improved. And one of this was one common solution for automated testing. And what I did, I started to look for a method that would help me really to build the right product. From my perspective, it was really crucial to use the knowledge we had from previous projects and unknown at that moment enterprise detailed needs. Then I got information that I will be supported with Agile code. And then the magic happened because it occurred that Agnieszka will be that Agile coach. We already worked together in the past. So it was really first good sign in this new journey.
Thanks. I'm constantly searching for new possibilities. A few weeks before I was assigned to Klaudia's project, I discovered presentation of Paulo Caroli on Agile Warsaw 2020. That was actually last time before the pandemic. He was talking about the method covering ideas, how to align people, customers, product team, and decide with them what will be the MVP. This method is described in his book, Lean Inception, How to Align People and Build the Right Product, the same title as our presentation today. You cannot imagine how happy I was at this moment because it contains all necessary activities that could cover a gap where we are talking about. It was obvious that we will try this approach with Klaudia on the enterprise level. As you now know, Lean Inception is the beginning of the Agile project. What you will get as the outcome from Lean Inception is the agreed product vision based on the recent business goal. You will get the main users description of them and their needs expressed in the user's journey, main features in MVP, and of course, shared understanding of all participants.
Yeah, now we will drive you through 3 phases of Inception. So generally, we've got the first phase called pre, where our biggest work was performed before the inception. Then we've got the during part, where it was a collaborative work with stakeholders, with development team, and first phase post, where the real life happens.
Lean Inception is performed as a workshop. Claudia was mentioning that, and it's specifically about understanding MVP. It does not replace ideation session, customer research, or architecture review, or even it not replace competitive analysis. It needs to happen and it needs to be done in advance. It is specific technique that is a part of understanding what it takes to build a successful product. How activate to fit to your product depends how much your company is specific and how much the context fits to your organization and the development effort that you are working with.
So let's start from the beginning. I mean, people. First step was to start to really gather the right people. I will underline this many times, right people, who will take place, who will participate in Lean Inception. So I started with Agile coach, Agnieszka, and a product owner to agree a plan, to gather data from stakeholders that might be interested in the product we are going to build, or another stakeholders that have already used any other tool for automation and can give us more information, more insight. Together with product owner, we interviewed a number of people really within our organization. We had to align also with our sponsor to understand the business needs and what is really expected from the business point of view. As you know, 2020 was a very special time. Everything must have been done online. So we had to prepare the space on Microsoft Teams to enable people to talk with each other. That was one thing. We used separate channels for group work. Mural, for example, for exchanging ideas and gathering outcomes. We knew that we will not be able to facilitate such a big group of people because it was in some moments about 40 people. So we asked other Scrum Masters from the other teams to join us and help us here. It was crucial to have everyone informed and prepared for this, what was going to happen. So the date was announced well in advance to book their time. We also asked them to be prepared. First product vision and mission were created in pre-phase, and it was presented as a starting point of discussion really during the kickoff.
It was really important for us to align Claudia's newly created team. A group of people who was about to start work as a one team. Some of them had never saw each other, never worked together. Some people just joined Aptiv at that time. Yeah, it was not easy to get known each other in 2020. So it was obvious that we need to do something about it. And solution was small workshop right before the inception. In the agenda, we had few icebreakers and small hackathon to give them space to work and know each other better.
Yeah, so generally in the pre-phase, we had few steps, as you can see on the slide. First, we had the need or problem stated and written on Confluence, so everyone can see, understand it, and have a discussion about it. We defined our stakeholders, made interviews with them to be able to draw the first draft really user journey. It led us to product vision hypothesis that was the entry point to Lean Inception Kickoff. So at the moment, we had everything to start the Lean Inception on the enterprise level. Enterprise, yeah. So you might think that this method is dedicated for enterprise, but nothing like that. So now Aga will show you the startup approach in case of Lean Inception.
Can I validate my business idea before I invest money in it? Let's check it, and I'm checking it actually right now. 2020 was a difficult year for everyone. As a coach, or even during conversation with friends, I was seeing confusion in people's mind about the job subject. They don't know what they like or dislike to do at work, don't know how to start searching for a job, or just feeling that they are not good enough for a new role. And of course, had a fear of change. It's a large and important need to be covered, but I was totally not sure how to cover it, what kind of solutions would help them. I knew Lean Inception from work environment. I knew it should fit to the startup as well. And I love experiments. I decided to identify product based on the needs, but then build whatever it will be defined from this workshop, but build it iteratively and validate my assumption. Crucial part of building any product was to find the contributors. So people first, as we are saying and repeating it all the time. Contributors within the same goal. Help people with self-discovery and showing them their career possibilities. While I was searching for contributors, I focused on the 3 areas. So wish of help and knowledge about the self-discovery and knowledge about the building career paths. Next condition was if future contributors will have time to work. Nowadays, it's not easy to find people who would have the same goal and wish of investing their time in unknown project. Let's just say that when I'm believing in something, I search a lot and analyze a lot.
That's true.
So my product journey started with 2 great women, Anya Schindler, she's HR Senior Administrator at Arla, and she's covering the HR related subjects, and Jessica Duran, who is the Senior Digital Analyst at Ecolab. She's covering not only the data managing, but as well branding area. We are still during pre-phase with our product. We had identified the needs and we could identify the group of users. It means create personas. To be able to build personas correctly, I needed to make interviews with my colleagues. Conclusions were amazing and were giving us new area to be covered by our product. User's journey gave us the simplest version of our product with constant questioning on each step of this journey. So what is the purpose of this stage and how the user is feeling during it? Something what was not obvious for me at that time was branding. I would skip it, but thanks to Jessica, she knew that branding at this stage for the startup is really crucial because you are targeting the customers based on the personas. We have analyzed the competitors on market, and now we have all necessary knowledge from those activities gathered that we are already, but we are ready to build the first product vision and start Lean Inception Kickoff. So as you can see, the enterprise and the startup level has a little bit different paths. Your path might be different as well. Important is that at the end of the pre-phase, we need to have covered prerequisites to be able to go further, to go to the Lean Inception Kickoff. So what you can see on the screen is the agenda of the Lean Inception. And Lean Inception starts with the kickoff. followed by the sequence of intense activities, and it ends with the Lean Inception Showcase. The team directly involved with the initiative must participate in all activities. The other interested parties must participate in the kickoff and the showcase, mainly because the expectations and results from the workshop are presented there. What we suggest having stakeholders as well on the session about defining the product. After it, there is no space for assumption. There is no space for miscommunication because they are collaboratively creating vision and describing the product. Having agenda visible to everyone as it is right now builds up the group confidence and awareness about the time and progress of all activities.
Yeah, and as we did in online version, we had to adjust the timetable to keep people focused online as much as we could. As you know, it's not so simple. So we decided to change it a little bit, and finally we had shorter sessions up to 4 hours per day, and in total that was 6 days for the Lean Inception, plus additional meeting for the Lean Inception Showcase. We did it 2 weeks after the whole workshop because of vacation period and so on. And what is important, at the beginning and at the end of the Lean Inception, in the black color, you've got those meetings where everyone has to be present. It's crucial, as Agnieszka said. So we need to have stakeholders, development team, product owner, manager, coaches, facilitators. Everyone should be there. On other sessions, only development team took part together with product owner, manager, and coach. So let's start with first part. This is really the second meeting called Product Vision Board. And first version of a product vision board was prepared in pre-phase, as we mentioned before. This activity will help you to define product vision in a collaborative way with stakeholders, development team. This is really the starting point of discussion between those people to understand each other's expectations and work on one common vision. It defines really the essence of your business value and should reflect a clear message to your customers, to users. Of course, it is only first draft version. Do not get used to it, as it will change many times during inception, but also it will change after inception. So we got a really huge group of people. So we divided them into 5 groups where they were working on their vision. In each team, it was crucial to have stakeholders and also development team members to have 2 points of view. The next meeting is really my favorite. Is not, does not do. It's really fun because during this part of inception, people are starting to talk about the product and functions. This activity helps to explain it. It seeks product classification, really, following these 4 guidelines, asking also for the positive and negative aspects about the product. So sometimes it's easier for people to describe something by telling what the thing is not doing. So in each part, each person must share how they imagine the product as a group of functions. All points of view must be discussed to reach a consensus from the stakeholders' point of view and also development team point of view. So it really clarifies main objectives that people very often take as a granted without asking about them. Afterwards, everyone has a more, let's say, coordinated view regarding the product, what the product does or doesn't really. And strategic decisions can be made here to be clarified. And what is really important here, everyone needs to agree at the end what will be in which part, both stakeholders and testing.
On this picture, you can see results from the interview captured in the mind map. That's how we were capturing the data from them. It was the easiest way because the mind map is really flexible tool and it's fast to fulfill during the interview. It's not killing the conversation. To effectively identify the features of a product, it is important to keep users and their goals in mind. A persona, this is a tool which creates a realistic representation of the users or group of users. It helps development team to describe the features from the point of view of those who will interact with the final product. It means we choose features based on our assumption. It's always based on something, yeah, of what is valuable for our users. For this, we need to understand who our users are, what activities performed by them are supported by the product, and how to measure if they found the product successful or even useful. To start the feature brainstorming, we need to be aware that the feature represents users' action or interaction with the product. That's how it should be. The description of the feature must be as simple as it possible and should aiming to meet business goal, a persona need, and or fulfilling the step in the journey.
Based on what product does, we stated basic features. Based on what product is, as we stated acceptance criteria really. So using information gained during the first day of Inception, where we have selected features that holds value for us. Next step was defining which groups will be using our functionalities and create first user story. In the next meeting, technical UX and business, this is like a next step after brainstorming activity that listed many features, but we need to spend more time trying to understand the features in more detail. In order to develop this understanding, we assess the features in terms of effort, business value, user experience, and uncertainty about what is it and how to build it. It is great when someone says, I know exactly what to do, and what is more, I know exactly how to do. It's amazing when this happens, but however, it's not always in the real life. So that's why you need to check the level of uncertainty for each feature. The traffic light chart will help you to do this. As you can see on the slide, you've got in the bottom line the red, later on the yellow, and the green at the top. The review aims to discuss how the team feels about technical, business, and UX understanding for each feature. So from this activity, new clarifications will happen, and the disagreement and doubt should become more apparent for people. In my Inception, we covered this topic partially on features level, and partially business review was done before the kickoff, even before the team was created.
The next step of the Inception is the user's journey. it's not easy to prepare really good user's journey because you are identifying what the user is doing before, during, and after our product. So user's journey describes a sequence of the steps that user follows in order to reach a goal. So you have to have identified goal as well. Some of those steps represent point of contact with the product, demonstrating how the users interact with it. As we build the journey, the team raises the questions and different opinions about the user needs and the product features. And it's growing the awareness of the product. By the end of this activity, two things may occur. One, missing features are identified. And second, some features were totally not mapped in any of the journey.
Yeah, on the enterprise level, we use the user's journey to really see a sequence of steps that a user follows in order to reach the goal. These steps demonstrate how the users interact with product, what needs to be done on user side, and what must be executed on product side. So to have the full collaboration here.
Feature sequencer assists in organizing and viewing the features and in the incremental validation of the product. So when we have a list of features defined from the previous steps, the next step is to define the MVP. So what kind of feature will be creating our MVP? And it's following iterations. The sequencer is only mapping a plan we create according to the current understanding of the product and the product needs. And the user's needs, actually. The purpose of this activity is to build the MVP features as early as it's possible and focus only on them. There are several rules about the building waves of the sequencer, but you will find them in the book. The next activity is MVP Canvas. Beautiful sentence, learn in order to build and build in order to learn. This is kind of loop. MVP Canvas is a visual chart that helps the team to align and understand the MVP, understand even more. We didn't use it in the enterprise level analysis, but I'm pretty sure that for startup, it will take a big part. MVP Canvas will get you to a good level of detailed and a lot of discussion on each of Canvas quadrant. It's time consuming, but it's worth.
So the last meeting really, according to agenda, is the Lean Inception Showcase. This meeting is a meeting where for the second time everyone meets. This is the time to demonstrate the MVP plan by the product owner and development team to stakeholders. In our case, this meeting took us, it was done 2 weeks after the Lean Inception workshop. So what we did, we talked about the artifacts that were generated at the Lean Inception workshop and share the understanding of the MVP. So what we are going to build, what is the goal of MVP, what it will be, when it will be delivered. So this is very often questions of the management, when. So we must describe the hypothesis of the business here. If we really move forward, if we are reaching really the results, the desired result. In our case, we did a roadmap for the MVP, and it is visible for everyone in the company, for the development team, for managers, stakeholders. It is also alive and it changes according to the life. So now the post, what is really happening? in the real life. So as you can expect, everything can happen in the real life. So not everything is always clear and easy to implement, but we focus on the vision of our MVP. We still work with stakeholders and clients to have constant feedback loop and get new information, new features, new ideas from them. It allows us to develop the product in an iterative way, adjusted to needs that really changes sometimes every day, according to different teams, different projects. Our backlog is really alive. Refinement, for example, is one of the most important meetings and is very valuable. The development of our product triggers ideas for other solutions, for other tools that might be used in the future. It is about 9 months at the moment after the inception. And the one thing that I can say from my perspective is that it was really a great way to see our customers' needs and see their point of view. Or maybe I should say point of needs.
Exactly. We could, after the inception, directly step into the sprint planning meeting or PA planning, depends on the scale of the product. So it's really useful. And here we are on the Agile Swarming with you, with our Lean Inception story. Now it's your time for asking questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We can imagine that this is not an easy topic, and trust us, we spent a lot of time, weeks really, to get into this Lean Inception, into details, preparing, planning. This is really a huge work, and it takes a lot of time really and effort from our side.
So would you prefer to share the Slack chat from your screen, or do you prefer that I do it? How do you
Can
like?
you do it, please?
I can do it, please.
Okay, so I'm stopping sharing if I can.
I will stop it for you. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
And now.
No.
Oops.
Okay, so what we have here.
Yeah, so just take a look at it and maybe go one by one as you please.
Time, and I think from my perspective, it was the interviews with customers, stakeholders, and getting them to Lean Inception. Because as you know, always people have a lot of meetings, especially if they are really in escalation-driven development. Sometimes it happens. That was really, I think, difficult at first to gather them, to get all needed information in time to prepare the content for the kickoff.
From my perspective, I would say this is something new, totally new approach. The question and the naming of it is Inception. So it's constant questioning loop. What is the product? This is the main purpose of it, to validate this MVP. And it's really hard to convince someone that those 5 days will reduce you the gap of 6 months of aligning people and stealing this time from the development. So to get the sponsor aligned and to make them understand that investing this time now will cause you reduce the waste. That was something what was crucial for me, because if you have the green light from the sponsor, then the work is happening. So yeah, it will be exhausting if you are a coach. Yeah. But getting the point of convincing people at this level is something really difficult.
And it was really the first time where we did it in Aptiv. So it was something new. People were a little bit curious. Inception. I saw a movie like that. So yeah, I think that was another good point to gather people.
Okay, in the meantime, we received a comment from Piotr.
Okay, I will read the question out loud because it's easier for me. I'm sorry. Do you think the same approach is possible to be applicable to normally more waterfall-like products, for example, low-level embedded software projects? The typical issue is that MVP development, and I cannot see so what is behind.
That the MVP development is not so straightforward as in UX.
Maybe you could also make it a little bit bigger.
Bigger or smaller?
Oh, bigger, I guess. Oh, yeah.
It's like the.
Okay, we've got it also on the cell phone.
On the cell phone.
Okay.
Waterfall. I think that understanding the product is crucial, no matter how you will work on this product later on. So if you want to understand the product, this approach will help you understanding the product, but the first version of the product. Waterfall approach has got this fixed scope, fixed time, fixed budget. It's kind of tricky because all of those activities are focused on the upcoming months unless you reach the MVP. So they are just focusing on the MVP. So it might not be sufficient enough, or it might not be true if you look at the wider scale of the time. That's how I feel. But at the beginning, it will help you. Definitely, it will help you to understand how to start with the project.
But what is important also, you will be able to join people in one place, maybe online place, maybe just face-to-face, and talk about the product. This is really the gap we are talking about, that very often some management people is preparing the scope, time, cost, and really other people are joining later on. So I think it's also a good idea, and it might work in case of people gathering and giving them space just to talk about the product.
All right, thank you very much. I see no more questions, so we would like to remind everybody that you can provide feedback on Miro. Yeah, Claudia?
I think that Marta wrote, if we can go back to features and how we define them. Yes?
Yes, there is a entry like this.
Yeah. So about the feature, it all starts really with the conversation about my favorite part. So what the product is not, does not do, because this is the first understanding what functionalities you really need from the product, you want from this, and for sure what this product will not fulfill. This is like a compromise between stakeholders' assumption, needs, and what is really possible to be done. So this is like a balance, yeah? And this is the starting point for features.
The next point as a continuation is this user's journey. Because on the user's journey, you've got mapping those initial features into the user's journey, and it might occur that the features that we identified will not map to the journey of the users, or you will figure it out something totally different. So those combinations of those activities give you the full spectrum of the product and how you understand it and how you will build it.
Are there any more questions here? Let me check.
From Magda, how to convince people. I
Mhm.
might know that, yeah, you can convince.
Claudia, I think you have to speak up or get closer because it's really hard to.
Czekaj sobie, zobaczymy, czy zadziała.
Wait now, better?
Oh, way better.
Why we didn't figure it
okay.
out it earlier, sorry.
Yeah, we discovered the technical issue. Will be better for the next time.
If we are invited, Claudia, no?
we will try. Okay, so how to invite people who are always busy? I was joking to some stakeholders that, guys, you know the movie Inception? We will do such Inception with our new product. So it was like a mystery for some people. Some people who heard that this is like a totally different approach in building the product division. And this is totally something new in an agile way of working. They were interested. Some people were interested because of the technical point of view. But what I can suggest really here, you need to find out what is really important for those stakeholders. And according to that, try to propose a good story about Inception.
I was usually using this sentence that the Lean Lean Inception is the start of Agile project or Agile way of working, because what was the biggest issue in our company is that we have Agile teams and we have thousands of requirements and we don't know how to start with it, how to kick off, how to move to the go live. And this workshop actually, as I said, it shrink the time of aligning the people and understanding what we need to do to actually even 6 months. And that was convincing for them because that was the fact which no one wants to have escalations of because we are delayed 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and what was maybe also a plus in the situation of my team, we were building the vision of a product that is internally used, and the requirements really were on our side to think about them, to take it from people. So it was easier in that context. But for sure, if you will get external customers, external stakeholders, it is also good to even see them, talk about the requirements, explain very often the requirements. That is not so clear at the first glance.
True.